If your grave doesn't say rest in peace on it, you're automatically drafted into the skeleton war. What does that even mean? 2013. 5 years late to the joke as always. Anyway, I know that you've known the phrase rest in peace. So let's talk about it. What's up everybody? Welcome back to another video on this channel. My name's Chase, and if this is your first time here, why don't you start by hitting that subscribe button. I post a new video like this every once in a while. I used to say every single Thursday, but I don't really do it every single Thursday, but hopefully I'll get back to it. But anyway, today I want to answer the question, where did the phrase rest in peace come from, as well as should Christians say it? It's a common phrase. You see it all the time on like cartoon gravestones, and people say it sometimes in funerals and weddings. Well, not weddings. I don't know why you would say it in a wedding, but people say it when someone dies, and most of the time it's just a way to pay respect for someone who's passed away. But where did the phrase actually come from? Well, believe it or not, it goes all the way back to the early church. As early as the 8th century AD, some Christian tombs would have the phrase dormit in pace, which is Latin for he sleeps in peace. This originally meant that they were now at peace because they were now united with Christ. Or in other words, they'd died and gone to heaven. Well, over the years, this turned into the Latin phrase requiescat in pace, which is Latin for may the deceased person rest in peace. In other words, it was almost as a prayer, may this person rest in peace. And then now, since no one speaks Latin anymore, the phrase is just in English, rest in peace. The acronym RIP was originally used in 1613 as an abbreviation for that Latin phrase, requiescat in pace. And then not too much later, in 1681, it was first used as an abbreviation for the English version, rest in peace. Traditional Catholic burial services still use that Latin phrase, and I think it was even in Assassin's Creed. But people are pretty much talking about rest in peace when they say RIP today. And over the years, while the phrase rest in peace is definitely still used to mourn the loss of a friend or a family member, it's often used in a sarcastic way when people are talking about the deaths of a TV show that's been canceled. Or I think I've even used it in the past when talking about the Browns when they did something stupid. So there's all kinds of uses, but in every way that it's used to talk about someone who physically or metaphorically has met their end. So that's where the phrase comes from. But the real question is, should Christians be using it? Well, the phrase is not in the Bible, so it's not exactly a biblical phrase. I mean, the prophet Isaiah wrote, "Those who walk uprightly enter into peace. They find rest as they lie in death." So that's probably the closest we actually see to it in the Bible, but it doesn't actually say it in the Bible, rest in peace. But that doesn't mean that it's wrong to say it. I mean, there's plenty of Christian phrases that we say today that aren't necessarily in the Bible. But ultimately, there are two things to keep in mind when using this phrase. The first is that when RIP is used the way that it was originally intended to be used, then it's wrong. RIP, by the time it had transitioned into Latin, requiescat in pace, that was more of a prayer. May this person rest in peace. And praying for the dead is not a biblical concept at all. But the second thing to keep in mind is that not everybody who dies is necessarily at peace. I mean, the Bible clearly teaches that heaven and hell are real places, and hell is described as a place of torment, and those who die without putting their faith in Jesus Christ, we can't say that they're resting in peace. So we shouldn't just blindly be throwing that phrase around for anybody that dies, because it might not be true. So ultimately, should Christians use the phrase? Well, it's not like using it or not using it makes you any more or less of a Christian. But I'd say that using it as a prayer for someone who's died is definitely unbiblical, and just throwing it around blindly for anyone who dies probably isn't the smartest thing to do, because it might not necessarily be true about that person. But if you want to use that phrase for someone who passed away, someone who you know was a committed follower of Jesus Christ, then it's up to you. I personally try not to use it about people, but I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the matter. So leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know, do you feel comfortable using the phrase rest in peace? I mean, maybe to you, it just doesn't even matter at all. So that's all for this video. If you haven't already, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I post a new video like this every once in a while and a new family vlog every single Monday. And as always, I will see you on another video. I hope this microphone hasn't been like blocking my face half the video.